Um, Katie Kluber has, yeah, your church's small group got hacked. Yeah, it's like totally a thing. And then it's like weird people are on, and if you don't have it set where you can remove them, then they're just part of the thing. Megan, what did you miss? You missed me saying that if you're doing a Zoom event where your number is going to be public, like on Facebook, you want to go in and set your private settings as much as possible, because people are getting on and hacking people's Zoom events and drawing inappropriate things or making really inappropriate comments in the Zoom events. So anyways, okay, so we only have 30 minutes because we have our Sunday skills call. I hope you guys have been enjoying them. The MVP team has decided to do another round of those in a couple of weeks when we wrap up, because tonight is week 10 of the 12 weeks. So we have 2 more weeks, and then we're going to go at them and do another series. So I think it'll be good, and different people will be training on those topics. So I think that that'll be a lot of fun. Oh, and there's another little nugget with Lene and Nicole. How cute. Hi, little buddy. So fun. I want to keep this obviously to time as best as I can and best as we can. But tonight I really wanted to talk about a couple things, and I've asked the leaders from our leadership team to really just share tonight with you guys. We are coming into close. I know that this is probably the most unconventional month we've ever had. I have never, 1, been in a quarantine. 2, I've never had to try to run a business where I can't see people. I can't get samples to people. In my 15 years with Arbonne, I've never had to do that. But what I can tell you that I'm finding is very remarkable is that company-wide, we are having one of the best months ever. And I think that there's a lot of reasons for that. We as a team are having one of our best months ever. Individually, you guys are having incredible months. And I think that that just speaks to the power of what we have. And if you haven't had a chance to listen to the call that Rita Davenport did yesterday on Go for the Gold, I would really recommend you do it, because she really always taught us in Arbonne. She was with Arbonne for like the 10 years that when I was first with the company. And she just always told us to prepare for impact. And she just speaks to that on the call. She speaks to why now is the time that we need to be as bold as ever. She is super funny, Megan. She'll make you laugh all the time. But why we need to be bold. And I know that there can be a fine line. We can feel like, oh, is this really the right time to be reaching out to people? We need to be sensitive. People have lost their jobs, and there is that. We can reach out with courage and boldness and yet be full of compassion, okay? And here's the thing, how we're reaching out to people right now, just like Debbie Neal said in her call, the Believe for More call, is how we always want to be reaching out to people. We always want to be reaching out with compassion and understanding, but also being, full of courage and boldness. So I don't think that that needs to change at all. And that certainly doesn't need to change over the next 72 hours as we go into close. One thing I did want to talk about just for a half a second in regards to this, feeling like, gosh, is this really the time to be kind of pressing in and building my business? And I want to just encourage you guys that it is, and here's why it is because there are going to be a lot of people when we come out of this thing on the other side of this that are going to need our extra. They're going to need you to be able to give them $50. They're going to need you to be able to give your time to come alongside them. And if you have not built your business now, when you have the time, you don't then have it to give it away. And what you need to take as you're always thinking about your business is, yes, you have goals for yourself, for your own finances, for your family, but this goes way beyond us. And I want us as a team to be building these businesses so that we have the extra that other people are going to need, because other people are depending on our extra. Do you realize that they're, when we feel compelled to give a donation, that's many times our extra, but that donation is what somebody is needing for survival or needing to make it through to the next paycheck, right? And so think about that instead of feeling like, gosh, is it so selfish of me right now to be building my business? No, I think it is really an honorable thing, because you're building it so you have extra to share and to give with those who need it. Okay. So as we head into these next 72 hours, we did a call like this many months ago. I can't even remember. Maybe some of the leaders can. And we just took some time to share kind of closed day stories. Like, I saw this happen in my business. I was at this place. I didn't know if I could get there. You saw an increase. You saw growth. And I just wanted to have you guys hear again, whether you were on that call, whether you're new and you've never heard this, because one of the most critical parts of having a strong close is believing that you can. Because there is the quote, the famous quote that says, whether you believe you can or you believe you can't, you're right. And so belief has a sound. Belief starts tonight. Belief really starts at every morning when you wake up. But this, when you're believing for the close, you have to just decide that you're going to believe for the things that you want to see happen, whether or not you can actually see the how to it right now. So I just want to open it up for our leaders. And if you aren't a leader, but you all are a leader, but on the leadership group that we have, but you've like seen something cool happen in your own business on a close that you think could just be an encouragement to the team. That's what I want to hear tonight. And that's what I want to really spend the next 20 minutes talking about, is just sharing those stories, because it's like a testimony. And a testimony, we share them because it gives other people the courage and the hope to know that if it's been done for her, it can be done for me. That's, I think, one of the things I always walked in Arbonne, was this belief that if she could do it, or if she could do it and she could do it, and there was proof after proof after proof, then I knew that I could do it. I didn't know the timing of it, but I knew that I could do it if it had been done time and time and time again. So if one of the gals from the leadership team wants to unmute and kind of kick us off, I asked them to kind of be thinking about that this afternoon. We would just love to hear it, because I love these calls. They are some of my favorites, when we just get to be reminded of all of the awesome things that we've seen happen in our businesses in these last few days of the month. So Lori, I'm going to ask you to kick it off.
All right, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you're great.
I'm using my phone. My laptop sound for some reason is not working. So yeah, and you actually said my favorite quote, and I actually have a t-shirt that says that, the quote by Henry Ford, that whether you think you can or whether you think you can't, you're right. That kind of goes along with, you know, the vision board and all the things that we do to draw things to us. And I know you've always said belief has a sound, and I guess my personal belief, I guess the month that I went into qualification for regional vice president, that morning when I, kept looking at my numbers, and I was thinking, it's not going to happen. I'm totally good with that. I'm fine with that. But I just remember you saying, just keep doing the work. And I was doing Zoom calls and overviews all day leading up to it, knowing that it was just the first drip on some people and things like that. But I remember just thinking, it doesn't matter, because it's going to happen. It's just a matter of when. But I still had, and I knew the stories. I heard all the testimonies of all the VPs that said, they were at a certain number the day of close. And I thought, well, sure, it happens for them, but it really is not going to happen for me. And that whole day, I just looked at it. I wasn't disappointed. I went in, and of course, you guys were all celebrating. You're like, yay, you're going to Qual Region. I'm like, yeah, okay, maybe. It's okay. It's all good. But I just kept doing the do and doing the do. And it still shocked me. I mean, it still makes me tear up a little bit, because I think that was more of a shock than it even was to close, because I just, I believed it, but I just kept doing it, even though I think deep down I wasn't sure. But I knew that everyone else had all these testimonies. So I just kind of hung on to that. But one of the things I know, and I just go back to talking about belief in general, that I just always remember, I was so skeptical, even the first 8 months and literally the first year of my business. There was many areas that I just wasn't fully confident. I wasn't fully in belief with some of those things. And so the 4 areas: the products, the company, the industry, and then in yourself. And usually belief in yourself is the biggest hurdle. But if you're getting, yes, we want to reach out, but if you really believe that it's not all about you and it's not about us, and that we're really just going to be using this time to pour into other people, give people community, knowing people need that income. I mean, 6 million people are now out of work. All those reasons are 4 reasons to reach out. And if you feel like you're reaching out and it feels like salesy or awkward, then you got to work on, there's some belief within yourself of how you're approaching it that you need to work on. And I think if you really believe this is the best thing ever, and this is the best way to own a business and the best products that we have to offer, and that we have the best community out there to help people, and we have all those best things, if you really believe it, it automatically comes through in your words. People will hear the passion and they'll hear your concern in your voice. Yeah, 6 million people in our country that need our extra. That's absolutely right. And so that was one of the things that, if you're hearing, the first thing out of the mouth, that, oh, it's too expensive, or if you're telling yourself, people aren't spending money right now. I mean, even now I was telling Danny the same thing. I'm like, I'm shocked because my numbers are, good as they've been in months. And I'm just like, and he's like, how is that even possible? I said, because for one, they're really focused on, I need to be healthy. And they're focused on, I may need to start a plan B. I need to start thinking of, it's just prompted a lot of thought in people. People have extra time to think about, like, am I doing the best thing for my family? Do I need to maybe have a side hustle to address some of these things? Or maybe this needs to be their plan A right now. And it's something we can help them with right now. And so I think if we believe that with all our heart, it's going to come across. And belief in general, especially these last few days, whatever goal you set, truly believe that you can do that and not just stare at the numbers, but really just believe in sharing with people, and as many people, and reaching out to people, that people are looking and they are needing these things. They've always needed them, but now they're really recognizing it probably more so than ever. And not that we are trying to take advantage of that. We are just, kind of that lifeline that we can offer out to them. And if it's not for them, it's totally fine. I mean, if anything, early on, I know I used to get really like shrink back and, oh, they're not going to like me, or, I just would tell all these things in my head would kind of go through my head. But it's different now. Like when I reach out to someone and they kind of, say no, 100% no, I always kind of think I'm going to follow back up in a year or so, because the people's situations do change every 6 months. But I almost feel sorry for them, because I know I was in that same spot, that I was a hard no to Missy many, many times. And I just know how you can turn that around. And once people see it, once they feel this community, once they feel the support, once they feel like we really are just trying to help people, they're going to hear that. So just, if you really believe it, and if you are questioning or have some belief issues, figure out the book, talk to someone in your upline. Just talk to someone, because we can encourage you, because we've all had those hurdles. I had those hurdles. I had hurdles with products. Like, they'd say, well, can't pronounce some of these ingredients. And I'd be like, I had to dig into it and understand and know that I know we have the best products out there. And once I did that, you can send me any question you want. I will figure it out. And I know Arbonne will always come out on top. So you just have to have that belief and that conviction. And that's all that matters. That's all I got.
That's awesome. That's so awesome, Lori. And it's so interesting when you're talking about just that concern that we can have at this time of just like self-promoting. And a really good thing that I heard EMVP Jill Bush say on a VP call this last week was, she just said, we're not self-promoting, you all. She said, we're offering a solution. And whether or not people want the solution that we have is up to them. But it's just our job to share with people, I have a solution if you want it. And really coming at it from that approach, because how really selfish of us to say, I actually have something that could bridge the gap when you're not making any money right now. I do have the solution when you can't find me, last week at the grocery store. I have a solution. Whether or not people want to take it is up to them, but we can't shrink back because we believe a lie that we're self-promoting. We're not. We're offering a solution. So that's awesome. Thanks, Lori.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, Rita Davenport said that too. One of her favorite books. She said the first 4 words, if you just remember, it's not about you. Every time you're afraid to reach out, that was one thing that was a good reminder in her training, is it's not about you. If you say that, right before you reach out, you'll just do it.
That's awesome. I love that. All right, who else would be up for sharing with us?
Hey, Missy, I'll go. By the way, I went to eat her up. Oh my gosh, I wish I could touch her. That's why Alex had to come and said, come here, see the baby. Yeah, that's why he was sitting here looking too. But anyway, so it's funny. I was just getting on. It's time, it's always those last few days of the month when you look, double check, go back to the rewards, go back to the renewals. And I'm like, why do I have so many renewals for this month? A year ago is when I qualified for regional vice president, was in March. So I have like 20 more people that I still have to get back with. And I've got a whole immunity bundle ready for them. There's lots. And I've been circling back to these people. So the next few days are going to be, huge. But I'll tell you, this is the right time. Over the weekend, I was still in Taylorville. I did 10 drop kits. I felt so weird. I was like, I know people don't want to come to the door. I'm like, okay, and then I texted before I drove away. I'm like, it's at your door. It was like the crazy. It was like, it was weird. And then the first time I went out, I still was in like my crop sweatpants. The next time I'm like, oh, I guess we'll put on real pants, because I'm like, this is how I was looking for like a week, right? But anyway, not that anybody saw me, but still. But yeah, so 10 drop kits. Okay, people were requesting them. I dropped one to a neighbor. Like we can see her house across the lake, right? So she calls me, she's like, oh my gosh. And I'm like, well, the instructions are in there, and all this. And she's like, I think my daughter-in-law would really like it. Maybe I could share with her. I'm like, no, I'll bring you one for her tomorrow. I'm like, we're not sharing. I'm like, I can make you another one. She doesn't need to wait a week or whatever to try it. Here you go. So people do want this. I talked to Pavi and I'm like, will you do a live with me? And, a drop kit. Okay. So it's like the RE9 in the little bag. So I do that, and then I hand write instructions. I do not copy them. I seriously hand write instructions. Not only do I like number 1, 2, 3, 4, all those, and this is the whole crazy pharmacist to me, but I explain to you why you want to do each step. Now, I never explain cleanser, because if you don't know why you want to wash your face, there's not even a reason for me to bring you a kit. Then we're done. That's just over. So yeah, so I put the whole kit. The sample things are fine if you're going to mail them, but I don't know about you, but squeezing those little things out, I hate the toner the way it is. So no, I want to give them the kit so they get the whole experience. Oh yeah. So anyway, I told Pavi, I said, you know what? I've got to get back doing lives, do a live with me. He was thrilled. When we looked this morning, and we only did it, we did it yesterday, like when he got home from the hospital. So anyway, in the afternoon, this morning, we were up to 710 views already. So I was super excited. We changed it to public because I said, nope, we're not doing it on my page. It's got to be public. We need everybody to see it that can. And from there, I had another drop kit today I had to go do, and I have 2 more I have to go mail tomorrow. So, it's people do want this, you guys. People are actually, even though there's hilarious posts, my favorite probably was, by the time this is over, either you're going to be an awesome cook or you're going to have a drinking problem. I'm not sure which one I'm going to have, but the thing is, as many funny things as people put on there, people do want to be home. They don't want to have to set their alarm for 5 in the morning again. They just don't. We start online school Tuesday. We're just finishing up our spring break, but it doesn't matter. People still want to have those extra things. So that's huge. All of my drop kits, they are, I put in the bags, yes, those are skincare. But I also have I love those big green Arbonne plastic bags. That's what I put my nutrition samples in. And I printed off, I made my own sheet with my own instructions, because I think you need a little more liquid than 9 ounces. So, I put all my little, tips and tricks on those. But I don't only drop RE9. One of my kits was a men's kit. One of my kits was prep work with the Clear Future wash in it, because if you need that, you need that, so no, mine are, they're not always skincare, and they're always, they're not always the RE9. They're a variety of things because people want certain things. So my thing is just, nutrition drop kits are always awesome. But yeah, no, my thing is just keep going. People are looking for this. And people really do want to stay home. Hey, thanks. It's all that Debbie Neal I listen to. I'm telling you guys have no idea. I'm serious. Oh my goodness. Okay, one last thing, because that's just a funny thing. So I'm sure, I know some of you guys obviously listen to her because, I mean, you know, Missy posts about, you know, her Believe More and all those new things. And my phone even notifies me when she puts a new SoundCloud. But I posted, if anybody's on my Instagram, a few weeks ago before this whole quarantine thing happened, we have the billboards, you know, like they do in interstates telling you how many minutes to the next exit or whatever it is. So this one said, don't get like distracted, but it stopped and it said squirrel in caps. So I actually snapped a picture of it and I posted on there and I tagged her in it because more than once she said that in her thing. So that was just funny that she actually commented back to me as well. But yes, I love it. To me, you have to have energy that either it excites people or it scares them away. But if it scares them away, then I really don't want a part of my team. And that's just the way it is. So it's just how it's going to be. So anyway, okay, that's me.
That's awesome. I love it. All right, who's next? Who's got another story to share, either a story or just, you know, just an encouragement to kind of keep with it for the next 3 days as we close?
I'll share my story, and which is kind of funny now that after the fact that I've promoted, I can share this because Lori told me this, I think a few months, I can't remember. It's all a blur after all of this, like everything's a blur. But what was funny about my story, and Lori's going to crack up. She'd be like, oh my God, I can't believe you're sharing this. But this makes it real. She's probably thinking, what are you going to say? That even makes it better for you guys to like hook you here. So, but anyhow, yeah, I was going just like Amy. What was such an exciting time about all of our promotions was that me, Amy, I think, yeah, and then Missy, we all promoted. So all in the same month. So we all promoted to RVP, and then Missy promoted to a national vice president. And like, that was the coolest thing. Like, we were all just kind of like running together. And I was the last one to promote that night, by the way. I think I was putting in orders to like 1 o'clock in the morning. And yes, people still will give you your credit. Like at that time, they're like, here's my credit card, just place this order. And so I remember the day of close. Well, because I'll have to give a shout out to Alicia too. I had a little fire engine up my butt because she was running, and I knew if I wanted to promote in 2 months, I had to do a way more in my central. And if you don't understand all of that, that's okay. But what that boils down to is the fact that I had to do 35,000 in my month of central. And so, I thought, holy cow, like, I don't even know how I can do that all in my central. And so anyhow, I thought, well, if it's meant to be, it's up to me, that whole kind of mindset. Right. And so the crazy thing at close night, I think I had like 12 or so thousand left. And it was kind of like Lori's story of like, okay, well, we're just going to go for it. I'm just going to put my head down. And I just remember just, you know, I had been in Arbonne for about an entire year, had probably worked the business up until that point, like consistently 8 months. And I had circled back. I was just pulling out all the stops. And yes, I did promote. But the funny thing was, even then, like I was like, okay, I'm just not going to look up until it's done. And literally I didn't do that. But after the fact and after and Lori's told me this, she's like, you did it, but I really didn't know how you were going to do it. She said, but I would have never told you that. And so it was just so funny to hear, like, you know, like you can even shock your upline of that you can do it. And the thing was, the whole time Lori was telling me, you can do this. She was like, my numbers jumped huge. And when you're just promoting and when you're just on fire and when you're just going, it just automatically happens. And so, oh, my husband's saying I'm getting too loud. So gosh. Oh, Maddox wants a kiss. Okay. But anyway, I thought that was my funny story of even how I've shocked my upline that I pulled it off, but it will happen. And if you want it to happen, you just go for it. You don't second guess it, and you just keep going. That's the great thing. And as you keep going, you're just going to keep lifting people up with you. And that's the best part of the whole experience. So now I'm going to kiss my husband, or not my husband too, but my son goodnight.
I love that, Fallon, and I love that you actually brought that point out, and you can go and kiss your boys. But that is true, that you don't have to always even know the how. You don't always have to even know where all the numbers are going to come in to be full of belief. I think anybody that's promoted to district, to any level, to nation, it's like, I didn't know how, I didn't know exactly where the numbers were going to come from, who was going to place an order, what that was going to break down to, but I was full of belief that we could. And I think that that's the biggest thing I want each one of you to take away tonight, is to know you don't have to know the nitty gritty, how, what exactly is going to come in from where, but you have to be solidified in your belief that it is possible. And go for it, like Fallon said, no matter what. So, all right, we've got time for one more. So we got one more that wants to share. I think Katie Kluver, you had unmuted before. Fallon, do you want to share?
Yeah, mine will just be super, super quick. I was just going to say about being able to like use this as an opportunity to love on people. I have had people join me in helping donate kits to the hospital my dad works at, and kits to the hospital that in town in Douglas County here where I live. And so what I mean by that is like including the protein and protein bars and fizz and hydration plus and things like that. And that's been a, well, one, cool way for my QV to go up, but two, just a really cool way to just have a servant's heart towards people also. And I know that the ones that my dad brought to the hospital, people were just super excited about, and we're really appreciative of that. And what I just did was wrote a little note, and I just said, like, thank you for all that you're doing. You're appreciated, you're prayed for, and you're loved. And then I just put like, Arbonne products are all vegan, gluten-free, and I put a little blurb, and then I put for more information, visit, and I put my my web address. But so like, if you haven't done that yet, I totally recommend doing it, and just wanted to encourage you guys in that way. So not a cool close story, but another just a success story.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. That's very, very cool. All right, so we do have time for one more. We have one more fun close day story.
I do have a fun close day story I can share real fast, just to like pump some belief into what is possible, because I also had heard crazy stories, and like Lori had just been like, well, that's cool for everyone else, but probably not for me. But when I promoted to area about a year ago, 3 days before close, I was sitting at 8,000 and you need 14 to complete, or I needed 14 to complete. And 3 days before, and I was like, there's just no way. I'd never seen a jump like that happen in that short amount of time. And so because I hadn't seen it, I didn't really believe it for myself. And I think we moved a little bit on day 3, and then woke up on day, like 2 days before close. And I remember texting Megan and Missy, and I was like, I'm completing today. I just woke up with this like conviction and belief, and I did not know how, but I just knew we were, and I just knew it in my gut. And I told my team that, and we did it, and we completed a day early. And then the next day was the day that we went nation, and my team completed at 22,000. And I don't know how, but we did. And so we jumped from 8,000 to 22,000 in a very short amount of time. And it was a wild whirlwind, and we sponsored a crazy amount of people, and it was just like, blah, it was crazy. And then the other cool close day story happened in October of this past year. And we all just put our heads down, and we didn't get into qual, we didn't finish anything, but what we did was we sponsored 20 people in one day. And that you can totally do it. Like, I've become super passionate about sponsorship, because it's finally clicked in my brain that is the bread and the butter. Like, QV will rise and fall, and you might have like, you know, cool months where there's an awesome promotion or whatever it is, and your QV will spike. But what's going to create consistent, long-term, reliable growth is sponsorship. And that is the thing that we need to focus on in order to kind of like get that momentum and that engine going. So yeah, last day of October, we sponsored 20 people. So you can sponsor 20 people in a day. It's absolutely possible. It's been done. And I am a very normal spastic person. So if our spastic, awesome, wonderful, love my team so much, but if we can do it, anybody can do it.
That's awesome. Thank you all for sharing. I hope you guys are encouraged. I'm going to post this recording. And I think whatever goal you wrote down on March 1st, just don't negotiate it. Don't renegotiate the goal. I think that is so important to remember that whatever you set on March 1st, you anchor yourself to that and you hold to that. I don't care if we're quarantined. I don't care if everything's kind of been turned upside down. You hold fast to that and you don't renegotiate that goal, because if you do it once, you'll do it time and time and time again. And a year from now, you'll be in the same place because you kept renegotiating that goal. Okay, so I love you all so much. Hop over to the call. It's going to be on creating and building momentum. So perfect timing for that too. So, all right, thanks guys for sharing. Love you all so much. Have a great rest of your night.